bringing you key insights, tips, and advice from the brightest minds in the Canadian franchising industry. This is the Franchise Canada Chats podcast. Welcome back to the Franchise Canada Chats podcast. I'm your co-host Trisha.
And I'm Kristen. And today we're speaking with Don Mucci, the CEO and founder of LiceSquad.com, one of the largest lice removal organizations in North America. Their team of head lice experts are committed to helping communities be lice-free by using all-natural, organic products.
In this interview, we cover topics like the most rewarding part about being a franchisee and a franchisor, why women really make great franchisees, the reality of what it's like owning your own business, and a whole lot more. So without further ado, here's our episode with Don Mucci. Hi Don, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
All right, so let's just dive right in. Tell us about LiceSquad.com.
LiceSquad.com was started back in 2001 by myself after I went through a pretty traumatic experience with head lice and went looking for help and saw that there wasn't really anything out there. And as an entrepreneur, I saw a problem that needs to be solved. So I in essence, made it my mission to go out and to find a really safe and natural, eco-friendly way to deal with it. Mm-hmm. And I did. And I decided I was going to franchise the concept when a woman from Sudbury called and asked if she could buy a franchise.
And you said that you had a traumatic experience. Can we talk about more about that, or is that more of a private thing?
No, absolutely. As a child, I used to get lice quite a bit, and I was traumatized by it and teased quite brutally. However, it was because I was a social child and I had very long, thick, clean hair. Looking back now, I know that, but in the days of getting it, I didn't, and I felt very bad about it. When I got it again as a young mother, I went back to that negative headspace, and it was something I didn't feel comfortable with, and I thought, I don't think anyone should feel this way about having head lice. I think, people should know it's a common human condition. It affects people with clean hair and, long hair. So I wanted to make part of my mission to stop the stigma associated with head lice and to stop the overuse and abuse of pesticides on children and our environment. And that was our core mission from the start of the company.
And how do your products differ from, say, something that you could purchase in the store to get rid of head lice?
A lot of products are based with chemicals and pesticides or synthetic versions of pesticide, and I didn't want to use that on my children, and also I had enough of it used on me as a child to know that it was very harsh and not very comfortable. I wanted to find more safer and eco-friendly ways of cleansing lice out of the hair. And I turned to natural occurring things such as enzymatic products and mineral-based products as a cleansing agent to help remove the eggs and the lice from the hair.
And so how did you get this business up and running?
Blood, sweat, and tears. A lot of headaches. I have to tell you, I had no formal business education. In fact, I actually had to drop out of high school because I was experiencing extreme anxiety from a childhood trauma. So I didn't have a background in business. I've always been entrepreneurial as a child. I used to do the lemonade stands, and I could tell you some funny stories of a couple of little businesses I started with because I was so entrepreneurial. And back then, people didn't recognize entrepreneurial traits. So you were called the troubled child or the class clown because you're distracted all the time. And so for me, I was labeled negatively, and I never realized I was an entrepreneur until I was older. But looking back, I remember always looking for opportunities. I do lemonade stands. I wasn't rich growing up, so I had to find a way to make money. And I'll tell you a funny story, and I was way before my time on this. My father was a hippie. He was a, biker hippie. And, back in the day, he'd have a lot of people coming over and, playing guitar, and they'd be smoking their funny tobacco. And, we'd have Joni Mitchell come and play guitar, and it was a great, back in Yorkville hippie day thing. And as a little girl, I'd watch my dad, and his friends would come, and he would, he'd give them little bags of green stuff, and they would give him money. And I watched this go on for some time. As a child, an entrepreneurial mind, I thought, wow, that's pretty interesting. So instead of my regular lemonade stand, I actually set up my little box. We lived above at a flat above a record store in Toronto on a busy street. So, you know, I'd have my box set up right at the flat, right at the foot of the flat above the record store. And instead of lemonade for 50 cents a cup, my box sign read, bags of grass, 50 cents each.
Wow.
And, well, I have to tell you, that business got shut down really quickly. I went literally out in the backyard and picked grass and put it in little sandwich baggies because that's what I thought was going to make me money. And this is just how innocent I was as an entrepreneur. And I was way before my time because that's really flying right now. Pot's legalized.
Yes.
So, you know, my mind, that's how it worked. And I just recognizing opportunities all the time to try and to make a dollar, and that's and solve problems. So,
and so you don't have any formal business background. So what were you doing before you started Lice Squad?
Well, I did everything. I drove a tractor trailer truck. Wow. I got my AZ license. I worked for the city of Toronto driving a garbage truck, which entailed also hauling 20 tons of garbage a day with my partner because I couldn't keep doing the long haul driving. I had a young son and I was a single mother. Mm-hmm. I got my aromatherapy certification and started a little aromatherapy business called New Dawn Aromatherapy. Didn't make much money at that, and that's in and around the time where the head lice thing happened, and I was on assistance and a single mom, and that's when I started to pursue that. Yeah, and I utilizing my aromatherapy skills and background to start out with to help me create products that were going to remedy the situation. So that's how it started. And quite frankly, I got my business acumen through real-world education. I had to learn as I went, and I had to make a lot of mistakes, the classic mistakes you can't avoid if you do go through formal education or have, you know, some business coaching and people guiding you. But that's okay. I mean, I learned the hard way, but at least I learned, and it worked out pretty well.
And how long ago did Lice Squad start?
2001.
Wow.
And what were the lessons that you learned? Like you said that you went through some, you learned the hard way. So can you elaborate on that?
So first and foremost, I had no business background education. I'm creative. That's something I have going for me. And you know, franchising is another thing that's difficult in itself. And I had no formal franchising education when I decided to start franchising. So I made, like I said, a lot of mistakes, classic mistakes, to get where I am today. But what that taught me is that anyone can do anything if they put their mind to it and they persist long and hard enough toward their goal. And hard work and stick-to-itiveness does pay off in the end. It just comes down to having a passion for what you're doing, believing in what you're doing, and never giving up regardless of the mistakes or the challenges that you face, because it's easier, you know, to give up than it is to go forward. However, you won't ever see the reward if you choose not to see things to the end. So I'm glad I didn't give up. I should have. I could have. It was so hard, I must tell you. Wearing all the hats in a business and trying to grow a business without any of that previous education or support, and literally with no money, because I didn't have any money to start off with, was challenging. So I think that should inspire people that anyone can do what I did if they set their mind to it and they just never give up.
And going back to what you just said, I mean, before I started working at the CFA, I had never heard of licesquad.com myself, and I feel like it's a very unique business model. So I'm assuming you're one of the first on the market?
We were first. Actually, I invented, sort of created the industry. I was a pioneer of the industry. There was nothing like this. There was no head lice franchise concept. I forged this out of started from scratch. I hate using that pun, but that's what it comes down to. You know, there was a problem that needed to be solved. I was the chosen one, so to speak, and I started it from scratch. And now there are other businesses, and there's a lot of them all around the world that are helping people with this. And I think it's a good thing because it proves there's an industry and it elevates us all and it helps people. And at the end of the day, I set out to help myself, and now we're helping many others. And we get a lot of gratitude for what we do. And I know it doesn't sound like the most appealing or romantic type of business to be in. It really is rewarding, and you can ask any of my franchisees or providers, they will tell you the same thing. People are so grateful for what we do, and that in itself is just as good as a paycheck for us some days.
And because you were one of the first on the market, how did you know it would be successful? Because I know you said there were many times you could have given up. And I would imagine it would have been easy to give up because you don't know whether it's going to be a success because you are the first. So
right.
How did you know to keep going?
You know, there's something in your gut when you see an idea or you grab onto an idea. There's a deep belief, and I had a gut feeling that this was something that had value. And I also I early on when I started, it was little to no marketing or money. I was unable to meet my demand. Well, myself in Toronto with a suitcase going from house to house on the TTC. I just couldn't keep up with that, and I just kept going, and people started coming to me and wanting to be involved, and the customers kept calling. So I knew it was going to succeed. It was just how was I going to manage that growth? And I chose to do a slower growth model because in this type of service industry, it's very time consuming just to treat one person. So you have to really manage your team to be able to accommodate those longer appointments. And so, yeah, I knew in my gut, I think.
It is a problem not a problem, but everyone gets lice, right? So it's not like it's a select few people who experience it. So the demand is there.
Well, definitely. I mean, it's a common human condition all around the world. It's the second most communicable affliction next to the common cold in children. Most people don't know that. So, it's one of those things. Nobody wants to get it. No one likes to talk about it. But now people have somewhere to go for help that is, safer for their families and just gives them that peace of mind. And life's hard enough. You want to walk around with bugs in your hair.
Agreed. And so you have so many franchises now across Canada. So what kind of qualities are you looking for in your franchisees?
Well, I want my franchisees to be able to resonate with our culture and our core values, putting people first and being helpful. We look obviously for the marketing end and the business end. They're going to work on the business, not in the business, because we would prefer they train people to do that actual work, and they do the work of growing and running a business. So it's a mix of personality and ability that we kind of look for.
And you offer ongoing and initial training?
Ongoing. Everything's ongoing. Things always change.
Yeah.
As a creative person, I'm very innovative. I remain innovative, and you have to when you have competition. So there are always things improving and changing, and our franchisees bring to us ideas which we implement. So there's always ongoing learning and the initial training, obviously, to get them up and running.
Yeah. Can you tell us what the initial training what that process looks like?
Yeah, it's a 4-day hands-on. Well, first all of their training is done online. So there's an online training platform which takes them through a series of videos and a series of written materials, and then there's an actual written test that needs to be executed. Once that's done and everything else is prepared, they come into the head office for hands-on training, and that's a 4-day thing. And then again, after that, they start implementing their business, and we're always just a phone call or an email away for any troubleshooting that they need as they're starting up. And our franchisees are very independent. They're very they don't need a lot of hand-holding, which is a good thing. You want that. You want those types of people who take the reins and can really take ownership and not have to be calling you every day to get some help. So we're lucky in that way. We've got a lot of smart people on our bus.
does this franchise attract certain people? I'm assuming a lot of, because like the person I interviewed, she had lice as well. So I'm just curious to know if
it attracts mostly women, people in the nurturing field. A lot of our franchisees have experienced it or used our service, and that they saw the value in what we do. There are some couples who purchase together, families that do, but I've never sold a franchise to an individual male. It's always been a female or a couple. So yeah, it's generally the female purchaser that gets involved in this business.
Can you talk a little bit about what a typical day looks like for a franchisee? They do have their own clinics, right? So it's not mobile based.
They do both. So our full service model is 200,000 households or more. That requires a clinic, and they will also still do mobile because you have to service schools, camps, daycares, and things like that.
Right.
Then there's the express model, which is 100,000 households or under. Clinics are optional in those, or they can just run them as a mobile service. And a typical day is basically they'll get dispatched out via postal code. Clients that are looking for help, they are taking those emails or calls, and they're making their appointments. They're servicing their clients. They're doing the day-to-day, or having their staff do the day-to-day. And in the background, then, the franchisee is doing networking and marketing and doing that stuff they need to do in the back end to build the business.
So would you say that franchisees, are they the ones helping to remove the lice and providing the treatment?
We prefer they don't.
Okay.
They will. They have to know because they're going to have to train their staff. We prefer they don't because they need to be doing the back-end business things to grow the business and get the business in the door. Business doesn't just walk through your door. You have to go out and build awareness and build engagement and network with your community. So that's what we prefer they be doing, and then have someone else do that day-to-day servicing.
And is there something that your franchisees, that you find your franchisees typically underestimate about running a business, or do you prepare your franchisees, you think, pretty well for the realities of business ownership?
You do your best to prepare them for the reality of it. A lot of people think they're buying a job, and they're not. They have to build a business, and you have to let them know that just because they buy a franchise doesn't guarantee that they're going to be successful or that they're going to have the business that they're expecting to have without having to follow the marketing plan within the ops manual, or without doing the things that we're recommending that they do. Some people, they have unrealistic expectations, and so we do our best to outline everything that they can expect in our disclosure documents, and in once they've signed their operations manuals, what their steps are to get the most value and to build the most success.
Are there any things that you tell your prospective franchisees that they should know before they invest in a Life Squad, and if so, what are they?
Well, they have to do their due diligence, so they need to take our disclosure documents and franchise contracts to a lawyer to vet and make sure that they're understanding what they're getting into, as well as, to an accountant. If you want to talk to a franchise consultant or a business consultant to help you make a decision, we just don't want them rushing into buying a business because they have this grand dream or desire, or it's just an impulse for them at the moment because they've just been through life and they say, oh my God, I just paid you, $400 and I could be doing that, right? So we try to let them know that they need to take their due diligence. They, the timeline is, they have to wait 14 days once we've disclosed them to be able to purchase. We like them to take a bit more time than that to get their due diligence done and to make sure that this is indeed a good fit for them, because I don't just want money from people. I need them to have an invested interest and a passion for the business, and I need it to be a good fit for them, and they have to understand what to expect. So if they're expecting to make $1.5 million a year picking lice, they're at the wrong door, right?
Yeah.
This isn't that type of franchise. So they need to know what they're in for and what to expect, and they need to realize that it's hard work. It's not just I'm buying myself a job and everything's going to be rosy from here. It is hard work to build a business. be it a franchise or any other business.
Have you had any cases where someone has invested or they were about to invest and you knew right away was a red flag?
Not really. We don't sell franchises to people that we find red flags. But we do have a qualification process, they have to go through various steps and stages before we'd even entertain selling them one.
Right.
Now, sometimes you can't see a lot of things coming because people's lives ebb and flow, and someone could be fine one day and have a health problem or a divorce or something goes down where it makes it very difficult for them to focus on their business, and those are challenging situations for both the franchisor and the franchisee. But if we see red flags, they're not being awarded a franchise.
And what's the process like when someone initially comes to you, so you get a lead, from then, and if they're the right fit, how long does it take for them to open up their franchise? Is there a certain time frame?
Well, it's about a 6 to 8 week process with everything that's involved. And I've kind of stepped back out of that because I have franchise development that does most of the, the vetting and screening and the qualifying and then, all of those things. But I can tell you it is a 6 to 8 week onboarding process.
Wow.
And so why do you think franchising is so attractive to female entrepreneurs? Because you have a lot of female franchisees. I'm just curious to know.
You know what? I think it's a natural collaboration thing. Women are really good communicators. We're good nurturers. We're collaborative. We know how to work together, and I think it's just I think that's a big part of it. And more and more women are seeing the value in working together with other women and supporting each other. We all go through common challenges in life, and so it's nice to have other women to talk to with respect to that. And again, this is not a franchise that attracts men only for the fact it's head lice, and it actually is one of the most primal things that can be done. It's very bonding, quite frankly. I mean, the monkeys do it, right? We're doing very primal work with people, so this is why you have that bonding, nurturing experience in this business, which women really gravitate toward.
Does the flexibility help too? Because I know you were a single mother when you started, so.
Well, I mean, flexibility is what you make it. You can decide to work every day really hard, or you can decide to delegate and carve out the lifestyle you want. It's just an individual's preference how they consider flexibility or what kind of lifestyle that they're looking to create.
And I know that Lice Squad, your franchisees are pretty active in the community. Talking to some of your franchise partners for past Franchise Canada articles, they've talked about how they, go out to schools to educate people to actually conduct treatment for children. Can you talk about why it's important for your franchise to give back in that way?
Well, we've always been a culture of, putting people first, and we have always from the very beginning been actively involved in our communities as corporate citizens via volunteering, providing education, doing charitable things for our community. So it's always, for me, I believe you lead by example. You have to walk the walk, and I've always done that from the very beginning. And I encourage my franchisees to be the same way, because you have to be a part of your community, and you have to give back to the community that gives to you. So it's important to build that into your business practice because it's just the right thing to do.
And I think by the nature of the LiceSquad.com business model, it does just give back just by the nature of the service, right?
Yeah, man, we're picking bugs out of people's That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
You're the one with the bugs in your hair.
Do you find that our clients is it mostly children, or do you get all age groups?
All age groups. We've done little babies to grannies, all the way up to old age homes, from nursery school to old age homes.
Wow.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Great.
And so, you're very successful right now. You have a lot of franchisees, as I mentioned before. I want to know who helped you along the way.
the good Lord. To be honest,
there we go.
In the beginning, I struggled, but I will say, Nottawasaga Futures, those programs that they put on through Nottawasaga Futures and through chambers and economic development. There's a lot of good government programs that are running. I don't know what they're named now, but back then they were named Futures programs. Things like that really helped me out in the very beginning because they gave me free consultants and liaison me with people that had skills that I lacked that could help me with certain things. So that was definitely helpful. But what's been most helpful is when I was finally able to make enough money to bring people onto my team, it's those actual people that have brought the company to where it is today. I really don't take credit for the success or even where I am at this stage because it is a direct result of those people that I eventually was able to bring onto the superhero squad to basically help me in the areas where I was weak. As an entrepreneur and a visionary, I'm the person who has the ideas and the passion and the vision, and I need other people to help me execute those things. And so I've been really fortunate to be able to build a really good team to help me with that. And that's been my greatest asset.
And you just mentioned the superhero squad. That's that superhero concept. That's part of your branding.
Yeah.
And I guess, how did you come up with that, and why did you come up with that? Is it because was it to focus on your children-based clientele and kind of have that superhero aspect?
Yeah, well, you know what? That's funny you say child, because everybody, even adults, love to be a superhero. And it's really funny. The whole superhero thing is ageless. And the reason that I made that core to my branding was because I wanted to break that stigma around life. I didn't want it to be medical or fearful or anything like that. And we don't want people to feel bad or ashamed about having to deal with life. So the kids love the superhero thing. The parents love the superhero thing. Who doesn't love a superhero? Who doesn't want to be a superhero? I still put capes on adult men. My mayor came to my grand opening. Him and my MP and my MPP all had capes on. They turned into little children as soon as I put them on. Yeah. Like they went from these stout dignitaries to I put these capes on as soon as they came in the door, and they looked like they were 5 years old again, and they loved it.
Do the consultants
wear that? Just to try and lighten the mood and make people feel good.
Yeah, I hear you.
Do your consultants wear that? Like, do they wear capes in the clinic?
No, the kids and just the clients get capes. So when they're being treated, instead of putting on those, those things hairdressers put around you when you're getting your hair done, we literally put red superhero capes on them.
That's awesome.
That's really cute. Yeah. What's the most rewarding part of being a business owner? Lifestyle, and for me personally, it's the ability to be able to create opportunity for other people. I mean, I feel so privileged that I'm able to create a lifestyle for myself, but I can also empower somebody else to have not just a job, but someone to actually start a business and provide an opportunity for them to do that. And being able in and around all of that, to be able to help people with something most people cringe at and make people feel bad about, that we're able to help with that. So that feels really good to me. And again, it's all about the people you surround yourself with and how you choose to run a business. You can either work in it, work on it, or have the lifestyle you want. Well, is there a particular story? Can you share a particular story about someone that's benefited from LiceSquad.com?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's the ones I really appreciate are people that have come to Canada from another country who are coming here really highly educated in their fields, very smart people, very, very well-educated individuals, and they can't get work in their field. And, they end up driving an Uber or doing something that's not meaningful for them to just put bread on the table for their family. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to cry because this is why I do this. When you can give them an opportunity to start a business and do something that they love and that they can make a living at, then it's like, that to me is like, that's my purpose. And I've done that now for about 7 people who've come from various places around the world that have started working for me. Literally, I employed them, and they saw the opportunity and decided that's where they wanted to invest their money, was to become part of the Lice Squad franchise family. So that's like totally meaningful to me.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the great things about franchising, is that you really you're allowing people, no matter where they are in the world, where they're from, to be successful being a small business owner. And I don't think you can find that anywhere else.
Yeah. I remember interviewing one of your franchisees, and she was telling me how, like, this business kind of helped, because she doesn't have a background in business and stuff like that. It's been a lifelong dream, and she was able to achieve her dream through this franchise. So it's really great what you're doing.
I can't even say to you like how much that means to me, because that's so awesome to be able to do for somebody.
And that we're kind of recording this interview at a timely time, because it is International Women's Month. And your franchise is almost, I would say, basically 100% female-based.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for women who are considering franchising as a career path?
Yeah, just pick something that you resonate with and that you really are passionate about doing, and find that franchisor who is not going to rush you into buying a business, but that really takes the time to help you make an informed decision, because you're putting you're investing not only your money, but you're investing your life into your passions and your purpose. And so find something that's along the lines of what you're passionate about, and that has a purpose for you, that gives you meaning. You're not just flipping burgers for the sake of making a buck. You're doing something of value, of purpose. And that's very important, because money's not be all end all of the world and of life, and you have to find something that you are getting more than money from, and meaning is really important as this purpose.
Well said. Yeah. So let's end on a fun note.
Yeah.
Do you want to play?
On a fun note, I just actually wanted to say.
Yes.
Just like you have to go with your gut. That's the other thing. Go with your gut, and never stop pursuing what it is that you're trying to achieve. Because as I said, you can do it. If I could do it, anyone could do it. I just wanted to say that our local chamber has an annual women's award that happens every year, and somebody nominated me for Woman of the Year Entrepreneur, and I actually just won that last week.
Awesome.
And in my acceptance speech, like I said to everybody, I never ever thought I would be standing on this stage accepting such a prestigious award, but I know I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for all the people and all the other women that have helped me get here. And I was very clear to make sure that everyone knew that it wasn't my award, it was our award.
Mm-hmm. And last year at the CFA's convention, you did win. You won gold in your category. And I remember last year you had brought some of your female franchisees, and they were all at the table with you, and you had a similar message, which I think kind of goes back to helping, you were helping people pursue their dreams, which
empowering
is
them.
about empowering them, and that's that's great to see. So I think that everyone kind of sees that, and that really kind of flowed out to everyone.
Yeah, well, we all help each other, right? At the end of the day, we all need to help each other. We have to help elevate each other and support each other, because that's what we should be doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So, would you like to play some franchise fun?
Oh, sure. Yeah, okay. I didn't know this was coming. Am I on a game show? Do I win a prize?
The prize is fun.
The prize is fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm all for fun. I love fun.
Okay.
So we're gonna read you off some sentence starters, and then if you can just fill in the blank.
Okay.
The most interesting thing I've done recently is...
Oh, God, I can't even think straight. The most interesting I've done recently is I wrote a theme song for a new initiative I'm working on called Canada's Top Mayor Award, which pits all of the mayors across Canada against each other in a friendly competition to win a whole bunch of money for their local charities, so the winning mayor gets the money. And I actually wrote a theme song and just finished recording it at a recording studio with these amazing artists, like the lead guitarist from what's his name, Burton Cummings' band, the Guess Who, and the bassist from the Platinum Blonde. He was my co-songwriter. He did the music to my lyrics, and we just finished recording it in the studio that recorded all of Russia's albums and the Bare Naked Ladies albums and like all these amazing bands. And that was the most interesting and fun experience I've had in a long time.
Did you sing the theme song?
I'm the lead vocalist on it.
Yeah. Cool. And what can you tell us more about this initiative? Is this going to be a TV show?
No, it's who knows what things will mushroom into, but it started out as a social enterprise and my third business, because I have LifeSquad.com, and then I started New Dawn Distributing, which was my way of distributing Lice products and selling a subscription training model for people in the U.S., because I didn't want to franchise into the States because it's very complicated and litigious, and I thought I was getting people coming to me from the States going, I want to start a lice business, can I buy a franchise? And I said, well, I thought it through, and then I started New Dawn Distributing. So they get trained and pay me for this Mucci method training, and they sign a subscription, and then they get wholesale pricing, and we provide them with product. But then I started this new business. I think I'm trying to kill myself. This launched in February. We started planning it 9 months ago. Canada's Top Mayor Award, and you can go to canadastopmayoraward.com to get all of the details that you need. The nomination phase is open now. Public voting will open in August, and then the award for the mayor will happen in the new year. So it's a whole year-long initiative. And in case anyone's still listening to this podcast, finding this interesting, we are actively fundraising, and all of the money that we're raising from corporate sponsorships will be going to the winning mayor's charity or community improvement project of choice, which the mayors will be listing on the website once they've put their submissions in.
Wow.
We have so what happens after they've been nominated, they submit, public votes, and then at the end of November, the top 3 mayors go on to a panel of celebrity judges who then do a scorecard and help determine who the top mayor is. And so far, we've got Theo Fleury, a hockey player, gold medalist, Olympian, NHL Stanley Cup winner. Hazel McCallion, she's one of the longest running mayors in Canada, and Hazel's on our committee. We have Robert Laidlaw, Platinum Blonde, Honeymoon Sweet, Kim Mitchell. We have a really good, robust group of judges now, so you can just go to canadastopmayoraward.com and check it out.
That's awesome. I think that Hazel, she has to be the most credible person on that panel. She has the most experience. There's a lot of different. We try to make the panel very diverse. Yeah. So we have 3 more seats to fill. We really want to have. I'm hoping Rick Mercer comes to sit and judge, but you never know what'll happen. I'm trying to appeal to the great Canadians across the country who want to really elevate the positivity in our political sphere, and help to distill all that negativity and just really celebrate and appreciate the hard work that our elected officials do, especially mayors, because on the grassroots level, they're really helping build our great Canadian cities, and it's really important that we appreciate and acknowledge that. And, get the damn negativity out. Everyone's so negative now. It's time to do something positive to elevate the climate. Yep, definitely. All right, the most important thing in life is?
Love.
Aww.
I know, it's such a corny answer. It is.
I love that answer.
My favorite drink is?
Tequila.
Nice.
If I could meet anyone dead or alive?
Oh, God. John Lennon.
Oh, okay. Favorite Beatles song?
Imagine.
No, they have that movie coming out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I know.
I want to watch it. Yeah.
About the Beatles?
It's about this guy that forgets. Everyone forgets all the Beatles.
Who wrote that song? I'm thinking, I watched a documentary the other day. Yoko Ono, I think, was very instrumental in a lot of the music that John Lennon had 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 taken credit for writing, maybe.
Yeah.
You have to say that. I don't know if I said that. Did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
Crap! It's on the record.
It's okay. I don't think the Beatles are like going to listen to this podcast unless they're interested in franchising.
All right.
Canadian franchising is
Awesome.
The key to success is
Hard work.
my personal motto is
Never give up.
And finally, I'd like my friends to describe me as
Oh, my friends to describe me as helpful. I guess. I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I never even thought describe me. There's so much to describe. I can't like. There's so many things to say because I'm like all over the place. Like one day I'm really funny, the next day I'm really empathetic, the next day I'm very upset, and then one day I'm really happy. And let's just call it happy. I'll take that.
Okay.
My friends to describe me as happy, and I want a second word, successful.
Got
awesome.
It. All right. Thanks so much.
I think that's the perfect way to end the podcast.
It is.
Awesome. Well, that was a great interview, ladies.
Thanks,
Thank
Dawn,
you.
and we'll see you at convention in a few weeks.
You betcha.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
Take care. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the Franchise Canada Chats podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. For more, head to franchisecanada.online.